What's up, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and I am here to chew bubblegum and talk about Monday Night Raw, and I am all out of bubblegum. So let's discuss what happened on Raw on the February the 22nd, 2016. We opened our show with a Facebook video. That's weird. But it was Dean Ambrose arriving in the building and then being attacked by the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, who was very angry at the results of Fastlane, and thus we are eventually going to set up these two fighting at WrestleMania. Fun little bit of video here. Good stuff that, you are showing character motivation outside of the usual confines of, the contract signing or the in-ring, face-to-face confrontation, or even the backstage thing that usually takes place over the course of the show. It's just kind of outside, hey, I'm in the building, you just showed up, I want to kick your ass. I applaud them for that. So, we move on from that bit of stuff to Vince McMahon coming into the ring to present the Vincent J. McMahon Legacy of Excellence, for the Montgomery Burns Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence Award, etc., etc., which I'm surprised they're using it as a storyline thing, because they've always treated Vince Sr. stuff very seriously. So, the winner of the Legacy of Excellence, surprise, surprise, is Stephanie McMahon, who comes out to accept her award to some fantastic boos, some fantastic heat from this Detroit crowd, who, over the course of this evening, this Detroit crowd, my hat's off to you, thumbs up, you guys nailed it. Having a good crowd is essential to having a good wrestling show. And speaking of which, easily the biggest and most surprising and most shocking moment of the last couple of years, the return of the prodigal son, Shane McMahon, showed up. And you could have told me last week, okay, flip a coin, CM Punk, Shane McMahon. I would have said CM Punk all damn day, because I never in a million fucking years would have expected Shane McMahon to show up as part of a storyline on Raw, as a character once again on Raw. And he showed up basically saying that, guess what, I've got Vince over the barrel here. We made a deal a couple of years back. Apparently there's a lockbox or some shit, and I want control of Raw. Now, Vince McMahon dropping the F-bomb on live television, like, after that thing last month where he kind of did the finger behind the hand thing, and now this, like, Vince is getting kind of losing it a little bit, I think. And I can only imagine the guys in the back just freaking the fuck out. I've got to play. Vince, what the fuck? That was an insane moment. This crowd chanting "Holy shit!" and "This is awesome!" and just losing their damn minds that Shane actually showed up after, there's some very, he very publicly pretty much, left, took his shares and left and went and did his own shit in China. And him being back is balls to the wall crazy. So, basically, what happens here is that Vince says, yes, I'll give you Raw if you can win a match. And that match, by the way, is versus the guy who never loses at Mania, The Undertaker. And, icing on the cake, it is Hell in a Cell. So, storyline-wise, this begs the question, A, why would Undertaker even agree to that? Why would he even, be like, oh yeah, I'm working for Vince, I'm going to do what Vince wants. We can bring in the previous history of Shane and Taker being in the corporate ministry in the late 90s. There are layers that you can go into this. I think there is certainly some speculation that it's not going to end up being Shane. By the time we get to Mania in 5 weeks, it's not going to be Shane. It'll be somebody else. But for the time being, this is crazy. The fact that you're booking Hell in the Cell with a 50-year-old wrestler and a 46-year-old non-wrestler is just nuts. It's nuts. So this whole opening segment, like, hats off, because it was a hell of a thing, and I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. There are very few times in wrestling where you do a moment just right. You've nailed every fucking thing, and this segment was that. I am fully invested, so all I can say is, please, don't fuck it up. Anyway, Moving on to this match, the New Day versus Neville and the Lucha Dragons. It was a match. It had some cool spots in it. Sin Cara's like, I can jump and flip too, but really it was Neville and Kalisto were just doing the damn thing. I don't know if New Day are faces or heels now. I don't know. Moving on. Next out comes Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman to do their shtick. I thought it was interesting that Heyman called Ambrose a hardcore kid. And first of all, I thought he said parkour kid. I'm like, he's not John Morrison. No, he's referencing Ambrose's earlier days in like CZW and those kinds of federations where he did all those like brutal ass death matches and whatnot. Anyway, in comes Ambrose in the ambulance because of course, in comes Ambrose in the ambulance, and like he can't even make it to Brock. He just can't even barely even walk. And then he challenges him to a street fight at Mania, and that sets up another Mania match, so that's cool. How they handle that in the next 5 weeks, we'll see. But certainly, those guys at Mania could certainly put on an interest. Like, having that as the hook, being a no-holds-barred street fight, that allows Ambrose to exploit the two weaknesses of Brock Lesnar, and that is hitting him with solid steel and hitting him in the balls. Next up, we had the Usos versus the Ascension, and holy shit, who cares? It's the Usos versus the Ascension. But on the ramp, out come the Dudleys, further reassessing that they're just not a one-note tables thing. They, according to Devon, they are not a nostalgia act. They are a badass 9-time, etc., etc. Now, I only take one. I have one bone to pick here. With Devon saying that they are not a nostalgia act while wearing a t-shirt that says "What's up?" which is literally a reference to a Budweiser commercial from 1999. That ad campaign ran from 99 to 02. So don't wear that shirt and say you're not a nostalgia act. What the fuck? Anyway, Usos won. Whatever. I should say previously the New Day won, but whatever. So, then we get Chris Jericho and AJ Styles in the thing where basically Chris Jericho is putting over AJ as being phenomenal, etc., etc., and then out come the social outcasts who have a bone to pick there. And then we get a Jericho Styles tag match versus Slater and Axel, which obviously Jericho and Styles win. Fun little match. Good times. Moving on. Goldust R-Truth continue to have weird backstage things, and this time Goldust had a cake, and obviously it's wrestling. If there's a cake, it's going to end up in somebody's face, and it ended up in his face. And I'm not sure they know what the fuck they're doing with this particular thing. It's just there to fill time at this point. Like, I'm not sure the actual purpose of this and why it's taking so long to happen, and like who they're going to feud with, and kind of what's the point. But hey, they're on TV, so that's something, I guess. Anyway, we move on to the Wyatt family, which in this case means Bray Wyatt, the original 3 Wyatt family, because Braun Strowman is on the outside, versus the Titans. So it's kind of a rematch, but kind of not, from Fastlane. And so the Titans being Kane and the Big Show and Ryback. And this whole match was simply to set up Ryback bailing and apparently having another solo run. For some reason, somebody likes Ryback. I don't know, fucking whatever. But I will give my hat off again, my thumbs up, my applause to this crowd for pulling out an amazing late 90s reference. This crowd, they started out, right, chanting Goldberg at Ryback, right? Now, I've gotten into that before on how that's kind of stupid, and it's less stupid now that he's actually wearing the gear and fucking looks like Goldberg with the black trunks and everything else. So, like, now it's more apropos. Before he was wearing, like, the RVD trunks, so it didn't really make any sense for them, to chant Goldberg. But where I will give my biggest fucking thumbs up in the world here is this crowd, not content with chanting Goldberg, they started chanting Gilberg at Ryback, and that is the most amazing, like, part of a holy shit we don't... That was pretty cool. Like, holy shit we don't care about you at all, go away. They were chanting Gilbert at Ryback. That's amazing. You guys are the fucking best in Detroit. Seriously. Awesome. Anyway, there was a backstage thing where he's like, I'm gonna, you know, shatter the glass ceiling and get the brass ring, and I'm like, no. You're not. But, additionally, I'm glad to see that Luke Harper is not actually injured from Ryback being sloppy and, as CM Punk would say, dumb as fuck. Anyway, moving on. We had Sasha Banks versus Naomi. And the match, kind of not important, because Sasha wins, and then there's stuff with Team Bad, and then out comes Becky, and then out comes Charlotte to say, guess what? You two are going to fight for a #1 contender spot on Raw next week. How much do you want to bet that ends up being shenanigans, and then we end up having a triple threat at Mania? So that'll be an interesting build as that goes on. We got the Godfather going into the Hall of Fame. What's up with that short-ass video package? What's up with the fact that they're deliberately avoiding saying the words pimp and hoe? What's up with not acknowledging that Godfather was also Papa Shango and also, the Ultimate Fighting Machine? Like, he's had a long and storied career. Acknowledge his different gimmicks. Like, I'm hoping he gets a better video package at the actual Hall of Fame, not just stuff with the Godfather. Anyway, your main event for the evening was Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. Oh, I'm falling asleep. Once again, Roman Reigns versus Sheamus, and the match didn't matter because out comes Triple H to thunderous applause to beat the ever-loving fuck out of Roman Reigns, and at some point Byron Saxton kind of said, here's a blood capsule, and then he was all bloody. I should mention Byron Saxton. I like that the Wyatts just, I guess, don't like Byron Saxton, keep putting the masks on him. That's pretty funny. But yeah, so a little bit of an uproar about the whole thing with the blood capsule. I mean, on the Jim Ross podcast, he's been saying for weeks that, you know, they could add a bit more flavor with these beatdowns that kind of have no blood if you use blood capsules. So kudos on doing that and making that moment look cool. And now apparently Reigns has to have surgery on his nose. I hope he wears that old school Undertaker mask thing. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, so that was just, you know, a long beatdown, and you gave him the pedigree on the steel steps, all that good stuff. And here's the thing, like, nobody felt sorry for Roman Reigns here. Like, if the objective was for us to feel sympathy for Roman Reigns, you failed. Because everybody was cheering Triple H. They were saying yes when he's getting the head hit into the tail. Yes, 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 yes. Like, nobody gives a shit, at least in Detroit, about Roman Reigns. They were booing the fuck out of him. So, that being said, I'm curious as to how you take this angle from here. Is it going to be a double turn for Mania? Because obviously people just want to boo Reigns. So let us boo him. Make him a heel and let us boo him. Come on. So, that being said, we've got 5 weeks to go until Mania, so it'll be interesting to see what other matches they build toward at Mania. Like, what are the Wyatts doing? What is the New Day doing? Like, there are a lot of questions that need answers here. But I suppose we'll answer them as we continue our road to WrestleMania. I'm Attack Slug. This was my Raw reactions for the week of February 22nd, 2016. And I will see you next time and every day for more videos right here on this channel. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. I keep forgetting to say that. Let me know what you thought in the comments below about this episode of Raw and about Shane being back. All that fucking crazy ass shit. And I'll see you next time right here on this channel. And I'm out.